This is the Hollywood Outsider. I am your host, Aaron Peterson. With me today are my co-host, Justin McCumber.
Hey, brother, how you doing, man?
Fantastic.
You don't sound it.
I don't feel it either. Brian Williams.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much. And, of course, Scott Clark.
What's up, brother?
Not much. In case you haven't realized, I do have a bit of a cold. So I won't sound nearly as sexy as I normally do. Or vastly improved, depending on your perception.
That's all right. Apparently we got Brian for that.
That's right. I'm bringing sexy back.
Yeah? For those that are just tuning in, whatever you're doing.
Turning in.
They're done.
Turning in your seats, wishing to listen. We are a movie and TV show podcast. Every week we talk about the newest in movie and TV news, review any recent releases, which this week we're reviewing Friends with Kids and Project X. Also going to talk about some movies that have hit home video. TV shows as well, some shows that are catching our eye. We're going to talk about the Breakout Kings premiere, Walking Dead a little bit, and Game of Thrones that hit Blu-ray. And then each week we talk about a topic that hits ours or our listeners' attention. This week we're going to talk about what cult movie, or actually what famous movie we can admit that we have not seen. You know, basically we're going to admit our shame as being movie reviewers. What are you laughing for, Justin? How many do you have? Lots?
I have no shame. No. Sadly, I have no shame.
This is true. If you ever listened before, you're not surprised by that comment. And real quick, you can always find us at Twitter on H_outsider, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Okay. How is everybody doing? Now that I got all that shit out of the way.
I'm tired.
Why are you tired?
I'm just overdoing myself.
Got
a lot of shit
hard
going.
being that awesome.
It is. It's a lot of work being
He said
this
it was
awesome.
hard overdoing himself.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what that means.
I'm sure his wife says the same thing.
Yeah, she does.
Did anybody do anything exciting? I don't. Okay. Well, let's go into movie news. The first bit of movie news. This is really exciting to me in particular because I'm a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan. But Scarlett Johansson, mine is this part. Scarlett Johansson won the role of Janet Leigh in the new film Alfred Hitchcock and the Making of Psycho. Anthony Hopkins is also going to be playing the legendary director.
Why is that such a bad thing for you?
I don't like Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, you don't?
I don't like her as an actress. I like to look at her a lot. Like, a lot. But in terms of acting, very few things has she done that impressed me.
Who would your choice be if you had to?
Anybody but Scarlett Johansson.
Because she looks an awfully lot like her. And
I disagree with that. Well, I would be perfectly honest. I would like somebody, hell, you can even go with Reese Witherspoon. I think she could pull it off. I just don't like, Scarlett Johansson's very bland to me. She's very boring.
Really?
Yes. You find her riveting?
Maybe I am too captivated by her beauty, but for me, she always comes off as very smoky and sultry, with a slight kind of exotic vibe to her, even though she's, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, looks, a straight American. There's just something about her that really, I don't know, appeals, and I can't imagine it's just her looks, but maybe that is all that it is. But I like her. I liked her in Lost in Translation. I'm now struggling to name other movies she's been in that I've seen, even though I've seen several. I've never had a problem with her. I like her.
I'm with Justin. I think she's got this cool, collected confidence to her.
I think she's boring as shit.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about her acting ability. I'll look at pictures of her all day, but not crazy about her actual acting. So, but I think Anthony Hopkins is perfect for.
Yeah, I think he can get it. He can get it. Charlize Theron, I think she'd be great. Somebody like that. She can pull
January Jones, maybe.
Oh, God. Now, that's a woman that is, I can look at her all day, but as soon as she comes up on a screen, even on Mad Men, I find her annoying, and not in a good way.
Well,
and in X-Men 3 or X-Men United, or no, First Class, gosh, she was fucking dreadful.
Well,
yeah, I agree with you there.
The more important part, they're making an Alfred Hitchcock movie about Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's the part I'm pretty happy about. I'll give it a shot just because it's Alfred Hitchcock.
How do you feel about Anthony Hopkins as playing as him?
Great. I said that.
Yeah.
He's a great choice. I think
He's
he can do it.
Fat enough.
He's not fat enough. I'm pretty sure they can slap a suit on him.
Yeah, have you seen the clumps?
They got that suit waiting in the wings. They might even do it with a black guy. Just be a little different.
They get Tyler Perry to play.
Tyler Perry's Alfred Hitchcock. Okay, moving on to sequel news. Real quick, I'll hit them all three and then we can talk about them. There is a Muppet sequel in the works.
Awesome. Jason
Segel will not be part of it. He's not writing it and he's not going to be in it. But they are doing it, so there's something to be said for that. New Line is moving forward on a Journey 3. No idea of where it's going to be taking place or if The Rock's going to return for it. And also, there's already a Project X sequel in the works. Scott hasn't even reviewed the fucking thing yet, and there's already a sequel in the works. What do you guys think? Either one of these three that you're looking forward to?
Absolutely, the Muppet movie for sure. I mean, that was my favorite film of last year. I obviously want more of that, especially if it's just funny. Kind of a little bummed that Jason Segel's not in it, but I think it would be fun to have somebody fresh in there. And I think the interview with him talking about it was actually kind of cool because he's not like upset about it or anything. He's actually like, I got to do my dream. It went really well. I'm looking forward to moving on to something non-puppet related.
I think in all honesty, I think he knows he hit it, and I think he wants to walk away.
Yeah, quit while he's ahead.
Yeah.
Cannot blame him for that.
Exactly.
And the last thing you want to do is turn something you love into drudgery. And, feeling like all of a sudden, I'm suddenly chained to this thing that I used to love and now it's just a job. Can't blame him at all.
Mm-hmm. And Journey 3, okay.
You think they're going to replace the E with the 3? So it's Journey 3?
Journey 3.
Oh, I'm sure they will. They'll do something.
Journey 3.
Cutesy.
Where are they going to go? Is there anywhere left? They already went through Earth and to an island. A journey to space.
Space? Go to the moon, motherfucker?
No,
Journey to the moon. Yeah,
what was that? Started with a Z. It was like
Zathura.
A Jumanji, but Zathura. Yeah.
That was terrible, by the way.
Yeah, it was. And it still had that same had that same kid in it too. But
well, here's a nice piece of news that I know Justin and Scott might be excited about. Keanu says the new Bill and Ted script is complete. Bill and Ted, for those that are listening, have never even heard of this shit because it came out like 25 fucking years ago. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey were two movies that Keanu Reeves and somebody else did. What's his name? Alex
Winter.
Alex Winter.
Alex Winter, not White Winter. Thank you.
They basically played dweebs or like rock dudes, man, and they were just like, yeah, excellent. And
unfortunately, Keanu Reeves never grew out of the role.
Yeah. Basically, Keanu was playing himself. Now they're talking about doing another movie, which I think is the saddest news I've ever heard, to be honest with you. What do you guys think? Dude, he's like 45 years old. He's gonna go.
We have no idea what this story is going to be.
It doesn't matter. It's Keanu Reeves, and he's 45 years old. He's going to go back to like doing rock hands and shit, and he's just going to be like, yeah, dude. Do you really want to see it?
Will send Bill and Ted to hell this time. That'd be kind
of. What's it going to be? Like Bill and Ted break a hip?
I don't know, and I refuse to judge it until I hear more.
Yeah.
You're the most judgmental motherfucker I know. Come on,
I read some speculation that they were saying that, in the, I believe it's the second one, whichever one it was. Anyway, there was, they learned that they write a song that saves the world, and they're kind of disappointed that they haven't done it yet. So they're trying to do that. I mean, that's just, some guy's speculation. That's not actual plot, but.
Well, here's the thing. I have very fond memories of the movies, but I really think they're like a product of their time. To me, it's kind of like doing the Goonies with like the adult cast of the Goonies. It's just like, no, I want to remember how they were, not like how they are now.
Well, it depends on what they do. If they still try to do it like they're still teenagers, or if they do it like, oh, hey, we're in our 40s now and we're getting back together. I mean, the Goonies wouldn't do that. I mean, they were kids going out treasure hunting.
I don't know. Let's see Dada at 40. That would be kind of cool.
He owns Nintendo now.
That would be kind of cool. Justin, you really want to see this, don't you?
I wouldn't say I want to see it. I'm open to the possibility. I've been surprised before, and I'm perfectly willing to be surprised again. As a general Justin McCumber life policy, I try not to get too opinionated about something until I know a little bit more.
That's fair enough.
And this is way too early in the game to be either championing this or shitting on it. We just have to wait and see. I don't know how they're going to do it without Rufus, but we'll see.
Maybe they'll work something out.
Maybe they'll just say he's off time traveling up in heaven.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
Yeah.
You need a minute? We can come back.
Yeah.
They'll still figure out a way to CGI him into it.
Here,
Okay.
we'll move on because this piece will make your tears dry up. Michael Bay's Ouija movie is a go.
Ouija.
The thing that's funny about this is the budget was trimmed from near $100 million down to $5 million. That's what they had to do to get this movie made.
Now, is this a remake of the original Ouija movie from the 80s?
Oh, no. The one with Tawny Katane and her tatas? No.
Yes.
It is not.
Nice alliteration. I like that.
Yeah, you like that? And I said that with a cold. I can barely breathe and I got that out.
Is it really pronounced Ouija, not Ouija?
Yes, it's Ouija.
If McCumber says it's
because
how it's
it comes
pronounced.
from two different words, we and ja, both of them meaning yes.
Wow.
So really it's a yes board?
Yes. Well, yes is on the board, but that's what they call it, Ouija. Ouija is incorrect.
I mean, isn't the correct pronunciation "ya"?
Are we doing an English podcast? Is that what we're doing right now?
So wouldn't it technically be "we ya"?
There you go.
Okay.
That sounds like something
Anyway,
to say. Georgia.
they Universal got Universal
As you
got
jump in
Michael.
your
Shut the fuck up.
your monster truck.
We are.
Shut the fuck up on an audio podcast. What? How many listeners do you want?
But let's have more Cajun. We are.
Touche. Oh, wow, that was funny. Okay, well, they did trim it down, so I don't know how they went from $100 million down to $5 million, but they made it happen. So, next piece of news, which is, we just heard about today, is Sony is negotiating with Chronicle director Josh Trank, who this guy's been rumored to be with every freaking superhero franchise known to man. But this one, it looks like they're in serious consideration for, to do a Venom movie. Venom spinoff, which, if you're not familiar with Venom, Venom was the villain in Spider-Man 3, and he's a very prominent villain in the comic books. I really hope they're going with the villain from the comic books, because the one from the movie was not good.
Topher Grace.
Yeah, Topher Grace was actually, he was fine. I just thought the actual Venom itself was bad.
Really?
Yeah, I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was bad. You didn't like that movie at all. You hated you didn't like Spider-Man 2 either.
Wait, you didn't like Spider-Man 2?
No, he didn't like Spider-Man 2.
I'm with Brian. I didn't really think it was all that great either.
So what do you guys think about this? I've been finding it hard how you're going to do a Venom movie, because Venom is a villain. He's not.
Well, in the comic books, they actually, Venom was really kind of his own character after a little while anyway. So I don't think it'll be that big of an issue.
So did he? No, I'm not real in depth in that particular character. Did he become more of a sympathetic character as the series went on, or what?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't know. I don't think sympathetic. I just, I was kind of getting out of comics, or at least collecting them, by the time that he was kind of really hitting it big. But I mean, he was really just kind of his own stand-up character. I believe he even had his own series. So.
Oh. All right.
I'm not hugely. I know the character, I know the origins, but what they kind of did with it afterward, I never really followed Spider-Man all that much.
Okay.
I just know he came from the black Spider-Man costume that Spider-Man got in.
I can't say I'm
Secret Wars 2.
I can't say I'm surprised by the director choice. I mean, I think everyone was kind of expecting him to take some superhero movie in the near future, and
yeah, I think he will.
Yeah. So
we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this is the. I want to apologize for earlier when I said Justin was very judgmental. I meant when he has all the information. That's what I meant.
Right.
Can I
when I
dedicate
feel
this
fully justified in my opinion, I'll smack you upside the head with it.
Okay, Rush, start backtreading now.
I'm not backtreading. I'm being honest.
We need to dedicate this next story to Sean McGuire.
Why?
Just trust me.
Apparently, we're doing dedications now.
Doing shout outs.
Shout out to Sean McGuire. What's up, buddy?
Did he pay you?
No, he has no idea.
Okay. Well, there's a man that's suing. Everybody knows that every week when
popcorn.
Anybody that has listened to this podcast before, every week when I end the show, I always say, the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn, because I'm a big advocate of going to the actual theater to see a movie. I'm not as much of a home theater experience guy as everybody else.
That's assuming they haven't turned it off halfway through the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Assuming you've actually listened to the very end. Skip to the end. You'll know what I'm talking about. There's cool outtakes usually too. Well, the reason that I say that is because theaters don't really make much off movie tickets. So when you go and you buy your ticket, generally, and I'm doing a quick explanation. A lot of people don't realize this. When you buy your ticket for the movie, the actual theater doesn't make much off that. And if it's an opening weekend, it can be anywhere from 70 to 90% of that ticket goes directly to the studio, so the theater doesn't see any of it. So they charge so much of a ridiculous amount for the popcorn and pop to pay for their expenses and also make a profit. I've seen the book, so I know how this works. So
I was laughing at your usage of the word pop.
What did I say? Oh, as opposed to soda?
Coke?
As opposed to Coke.
Oh.
It's a Coke.
Down here, even if it's a Pepsi, it's a Coke.
It's a Coke.
Oh,
Yep.
Jesus. Anyway. So what happens is a man is suing the AMC theater chain over cost of snacks, saying it's price gouging. Now, I've explained for a little bit, so what do you guys think? My personal opinion is you don't have to fucking buy it, dude.
That was what I was going to say. You don't have to buy it. Smuggle in your gummy bears.
So I guess you're going to have to go after not only movie theaters, but concerts, sporting events,
bars,
anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous to call it price gouging, because price gouging is something that occurs when there's like an emergency and suddenly supplies are limited.
Right.
The people who have those supplies then start charging astronomical prices for them. That's price gouging.
Otherwise known as capitalism. But
it's like if suddenly there's a flood and a store wants to charge you, instead of $1 for that bottle of water, they start charging you $10. And the only reason they can do that is because suddenly that supply is much more constrained. Yeah, it's capitalism, but it's also asshole behavior. The thing being is that's price gouging. Going into a theater, that's your choice. Buying their beverages and snacks, that's your choice. So using that phrase price gouging is in and of itself completely erroneous. And it's dumber than shit. That's like saying if I walk into a restaurant and they want to charge me $30 for a lobster tail, I sue them because they're charging me too much for that lobster tail. It's horseshit.
Can't agree anymore. What were you going to say, Brian?
Stupid litigious culture we live in.
I was going to say, not to be confused with price gouging. I'm not sure what that is.
Whatever. Whatever.
Somebody needs to upgrade their spell check, apparently.
Yes. Yeah, Brian is referring to, I misspelled it on the format. So, whatever, Southern boy.
We're going to go watch Casablanca this weekend? Or?
No, I'm not done with this yet. Oh. I think this is a very interesting topic, because I think a lot of people I know complain about it, yet they continuously go to the theater and pay for it. And they'll spend whatever their money is on the popcorn and pop, but they bitch about it every time they do. Then don't do it. The only way you're going to, if you really want them to drop their prices, if you stop buying it, they will lower the prices. If you continue to buy it, they will just keep raising them. That's just how it works.
Yep, smuggle in your own.
I'm not advocating that. But
I am. I smuggle my Jew bears every week.
My Jew bears. Oh, boy. Well, anyway, I think it's ridiculous that the guy is suing over, like Justin said. Justin said it very eloquently, and probably you could understand him because he doesn't have his nose
Jew
full
bears.
of shit.
They're so tasty but stingy.
Jew bear. We got to copyright that. All right. Real quick mention. I'm not going to
It's like the pet a bear, but angrier.
go on about it, but there's a one-night-only re-release of a timeless classic, and I think it's important for us to let people know, of Casablanca. Is on its 70th anniversary, and Warner Brothers is going to release it in 500 theaters on March 21st. So, try if you can, see if you can find it. I think it would be fantastic to see it. I'm going to see if I can take my mom to see it on the big screen. So that would be a nice little treat if you've got somebody in your family that's a big Casablanca fan. I think, Brian, you love that movie, right?
Yeah,
you and
actually,
Justin both do,
and
actually.
both of us, I believe it's top one or two movies for both of us. Unfortunately, being that I live down here in the ass crack of nowhere, the closest theater I believe that's showing it is about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So I'm debating whether or not to go see it. So I really want to see it on the big screen. I've bought videotapes of the movie, DVDs. I believe a Blu-ray is coming out later this month, so I'll probably end up. Yeah, well, they've got some kind of special release or something coming out later on this month. So,
and I think people need to realize that's kind of special. I mean, if you really love that movie, to see it I know you've seen it on your TV 100 times. That's a totally different experience to see it in the actual theater.
They actually showed that last summer at my where I go to college. Like,
did they?
Yeah, like they did like an outdoor theater. They set up and played down there.
Pretty cool.
I didn't get to go because there was some. Actually, I think it never happened.
Some bullies were picking on you at school.
No, I think they were planning on it, and then there was a storm and there was a power outage, and they never rescheduled it. So I'm kind of hoping they do it again this summer, or maybe I'll get to go see it in the actual theater if it comes by.
If you get a chance, you should. March 21st.
All right.
I'd love to go see it.
Trailers.
It's showing close enough.
You should. We've got 2 trailers coming out. Justin, you wanna handle it for me, just so I can breathe?
I would love to. Of these 2, I've only seen one of them. Frankenweenie was, as soon as I saw that mentioned, I was like, what the hell is this movie? And then completely forgot about Frankenweenie. I didn't.
Do Men in Black then.
It looked stupid, and so I did check it out, actually. I'm so sorry.
Well, real quick, Frankenweenie is the Okay, I'll do the trailers.
It's a short film, wasn't it?
Frankenweenie is Tim Burton's short film from the 1984, I think it was. It was a long time ago.
No, like 94. It wasn't 84. It wasn't that long ago, was it?
It was before Beetlejuice. I'm pretty sure, man.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But so what he's doing is he's basically making a full-length feature of it, a full-length CGI, 3D, black and white extravaganza of basically a boy who resurrects his dog through the Frankenstein effect. Various homages to Frankenstein, obviously, and little monster horror flicks of the past. I'm hoping it's Tim Burton of the past and not Tim Burton of the current, where it's overproduction and, just overdone.
It is 84.
Boom! What? What?
Well, I was asking. I wasn't,
you throw that on
challenging you there, Skippy.
But the trailer looks very interesting, especially for a kids movie. It's kind of a dark topic, but all Tim Burton's animated films are. So check it out. And
your reading that reminded me that when I saw the Tim Burton is when I lost interest. I have so little interest in anything that man does anymore. I didn't even want to watch the fucking trailer for it.
You don't have to keep justifying yourself to me, Justin.
Thank you. But Men in Black 3, I'll handle that one real fast.
Knock it out.
Men in Black 3 has got a new trailer out. I'm surprised they went back to do another Men in Black because the second one was so universally reviled, and for good reason. It's a piece of shit film. But the trailers continue to convince me that this movie looks legitimately good. The story seems to be that Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones' characters have continued on, but for whatever reason, Will Smith wakes up he's in the future. Kay is dead, but he needs Kay to solve another intergalactic Armageddon that's on the way, and so he has to go back in time to when Kay was younger and find out what he knows about what's going on. And of course, the young Tommy Lee Jones is played by what's his name?
Josh Brolin.
Thank you. Why can I never remember his name?
I don't know. That's a question.
For some reason, I always see him as his character Brandon in The Goonies. That's who I think he will always be frozen in that role. But anyway, Josh Brolin is playing a young Tommy Lee Jones. Spot on.
Seriously.
Performance, accent, everything about it. You would almost think they had Benjamin Buttoned Tommy Lee Jones or something to look younger. But it looks legitimately funny and like a good time. I'm looking forward to this. What do you guys think?
I couldn't agree more. Just to see Josh Brolin as Tommy Lee Jones younger, just every scene in that trailer, he literally looks like a younger version of Tommy Lee Jones. It's incredible. I can't wait just to see it just for that. And I love the first Men in Black film. I don't hate the second one as much as everybody else, but looking to see them revive it and do a better job. It looks like they are. So
yeah, they're fun movies. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a much bigger fan of Tommy Lee Jones than I am Will Smith, and I'm kind of disappointed he's not in the movie more from what I saw. So, but it does look better than the last piece of shit. I agree with Justin. Piece of shit. That was a really bad sequel. There's a reason why they haven't had a Men in Black 3 for a while.
Well, that and Will Smith's, level of movie draw has gone up considerably. That I think after the bad taste left in a lot of people's mouths, and probably in his, he didn't want to come back to it anytime soon. But enough time passes, a good enough idea comes along. I think everybody reevaluates their old bad decisions.
Fair enough. Well, now it's time.
Stump the HO.
For Stump the HO is our weekly trivia contest where one of our podcasters tries to quiz the other podcaster with a question, with a little trivia question. Basically, HO represents Hollywood outsider, not actual prostitutes. This week, it is Brian's turn. Brian's going to ask us a question. We are not allowed to Google or anything else, and you will find out the answer later in the show. So, Brian, what is your trivia question?
All right, this one's for you. Psycho, that we talked about earlier, is the first movie to show what? A house as a character or a prominent part of the story. B, the bathroom with a toilet. C, a woman showering. Or D, a man in drag or dressed as a woman or transvestite, whatever you want to call it.
Scott?
So does
I
choices again are the house as a main character, B, the bathroom with a toilet, C, a woman showering, or D, a man in drag?
I already know the answer, so go ahead.
I figured you didn't know the answer, so Aaron has to guess last. I'm going to say the toilet.
Justin?
Okay, Justin?
I'd have to say the same thing, if only because I know back in that era, I mean, shit, even on I Love Lucy, you couldn't show a married couple in one bed. It had to be two. So, God forbid a toilet appear in a bathroom. So, I'll actually go with that one.
That is what I'm going with. The toilet.
All right, well, then we got it right.
All right.
Well, we'll find out. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before.
About your favorite director's movies?
It's happened. All right, let's move on to the big screen. This is where we review any recent releases. This week we have two to review. Friends with Kids, which I'm going to handle, and hopefully you can understand what I say about it. And Project X, which Scott went and saw by himself because he's lonely. So the first one, Friends with Kids. I was able to go see an early screening of this with my daughter. So I guess probably not the exact person you want to take to a romantic comedy, but it worked out. What it is about is Jason and Julie are singleton best friends in a group of couples. So basically, they're the only single friends in this group of couples. Everybody's married. John Hamm, Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, and Chris O'Dowd. Basically, everybody from Bridesmaids, except the funny one.
Come on, Kristen Wiig's funny.
Well, I mean, without everybody but Melissa McCarthy shows up.
Mm-hmm.
So what these guys are doing is they're best friends. They've been friends since college, very close, but they just can't seem to get a relationship in order, right? They can't get their own relationship in order. So basically, after their friends start popping out kids. So Kristen Wiig and John Hamm are married. They have kids. And Maya Rudolph and Chris O'Dowd, they have kids, and they're married. So these two, what they decide to do is, since they can't seem to get their dating life squared away, they decide to have like a friendship baby, which basically means they're going to have all the shared responsibility of having a kid, but none of the romantic stress that comes along with being in a relationship. So they'll still be able to date other people, but they're going to raise the kid together as loving parents and friends. Everybody follow so far?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. But, so, the movie actually plays out more of like an ensemble comedy as it goes. It doesn't really stick to the tropes of a romantic comedy, which is basically it's all about them falling in love, them breaking up, and then them coming back together. I mean, there are some elements of a romantic comedy in there, but it's very much an ensemble comedy for the most part. It really takes to heart how these relationships happen. The people that actually have kids, what works in that life and what doesn't work in that life, and how they actually can make this work for a short period of time until it starts getting complicated on one end, but the other person isn't receiving. They each start dating. Jennifer Westfeldt, who plays Julie, she ends up dating Edward Burns. Not the actor, the guy Edward Burns plays. And then Adam Scott, who plays Jason, he ends up dating Megan Fox. So basically, he comes out a lot better than she does. So, and then of course, one happens to realize that they have feelings for the other, and then you get the romantic comedy stuff. But The film doesn't go the route I expected, which is what I thought would, and they didn't fall instantly in love. The first 2/3 of the movie, I would say, are very much an ensemble movie. Like, just the first 2/3. So the whole, I'm in love with you, what are we going to do, you have a problem with me, doesn't really play out until the last third of the movie. And that's kind of a compliment, because I don't really like romantic comedies, because they're so formula. Everything is exactly the same. This avoids a lot of the tropes of romantic comedies. You know what's going to happen, but it takes a lot of different terms to get there. It's a lot more adult humor. It's very much in the vein of like When Harry Met Sally, I guess. The writing and the acting, honestly, is probably the most realistic I've seen in a romantic comedy in years. Just years. Usually I watch these movies and I'm like, these aren't real people. I wouldn't listen to them. I wouldn't hang out with them. I wouldn't care what she had to say. I wouldn't care what he had to say. They actually seem like real people. Like, he's kind of a Lothario, like, as a player, and talks like guys I know, you know, like he reminds me of someone I know, actually. And she's very much, she just can't find the right guy because she's always dating the wrong ones, and very, you know, I could see that happening. It's not like, well, why is she so perfect and no one can find her? It's not like that. I mean, she's a fucking mess in different parts. But they're both very good parents, and they both do, they have a good chemistry. You can tell that they're probably friends in real life. So basically what I have to say about the movie is very funny. I was surprised how funny it was. I wasn't really looking forward to seeing it. The movie is very much adult humor, though it does have the family and relationship jokes and everything else. But the jokes are they're quick and clever, and it's very much in terms of what I like. It's not like kids made poopy jokes. You know, it's not like that. It's actual wit and clever turns. So I would love to see it again. It's probably my favorite romantic comedy in the last couple of years. It's exactly my kind of humor, so I'd give it 9 out of 10.
Holy cow! Wow.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Now I gotta ask because
really and one more thing, I absolutely love the very last line of the movie because it's very sweet and very dirty, like at the same time. If you ever see it, you'll know what I'm saying. Okay. But I just thought that was exactly summed up love in the 21st century. I thought so.
And I got to ask because I got to go to a screening with you for 30 minutes or less. Mm-hmm. And I came out of that thinking that movie was hilarious. I had a lot of fun with it, but I wonder if being at the premiere and, you know, getting to meet some people, you know, some of the stars, that kind of thing, you know, might have made me like it a little bit better than I would have if I had just gone and seen it in the theater. Do you think any of that is there?
Nope.
Or is this?
I didn't care about seeing her. Jennifer Westfeldt was there, and she did do a Q&A. And she seems like a very nice lady and very attractive, but I didn't care. Mm-hmm. She's not somebody that I follow. She's not somebody that I'm into. She's a good actress, and she wrote it as well and directed it, actually. And she has some talent. She wrote Kissing Jessica Stein. So if you've ever seen that, that's a very good movie about exploring lesbianism and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's a very solid film. This is very much another different look at relationships. So obviously that seems to be what she likes to write about or whatever. But being there had nothing to do with it. Because I really knew very little about the movie going in. Don't really follow her work at all. I mean, she really hasn't done a whole lot. So I wasn't starstruck in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. It was more about just going to the movie with my daughter. And I loved it. I was shocked how funny it was, how clever it was. The Bridesmaids cast, it's not like, you know, we're doing Bridesmaids 2. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're all in different kinds of roles. They're much more dramatic, funny, but dramatic than they were because it's very realistic. It really is. So no, I didn't weigh into my opinion at all. Because honestly, I saw it, I was going to review it last week, but I had just seen it the night before, and I wanted it to sink in to see if I still felt the same way. And I do, absolutely. My opinion hasn't changed at all. So, 9 out of 10 from the Hollywood Outsider.
Wow, I'm intrigued. It's a very high score for a romantic comedy coming from
especially for me. It takes a lot for me to like a romantic comedy, man. Because they're all so full of shit and hopes and dreams. Cutter. Yeah. Don't laugh at me, Justin.
Hopes, dreams, and shit all put together.
That's right.
So this early in the year, and you have 2 9 out of 10 movies already. The Gray and this one here, Friends with Kids.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's almost like they're having the good movies come out early, and then we'll be filled with shit.
The Avengers.
I'm surprised, and I will tell you, Brian, you guys all know me pretty well. Romantic comedies, very, very rarely do I rate very high because I never buy the romance, and I never think they're funny.
Hell, comedies in general, you don't usually.
Yeah, I'm not really big on comedies in general in the theater because I'm very particular about my sense of humor. This is very much like my sense of humor. It's exactly how I talk, so that could play into it. So if you don't think I'm funny, you might not like it at all. I don't know. So you guys will probably all hate it.
Maybe I won't go see it then.
Yeah. No. I really liked it. I thought it was very clever and sweet. So, do with that what you will. Scotty, you saw Project X. What'd you think?
Okay, Project X. I did, like Aaron said, go and went to see this movie by myself. Part of the reason for that was because I did not feel like paying $10 for this movie. And I wanted to go see it for only $5, so I went early in the morning and could not find anybody to go see a party movie with me at 10:30 in the morning. So, the reason I bring that up is because
it's the saddest story you've ever heard.
Well, that and because I didn't have a lot of great expectations for this movie. I kind of expected it just to be just a fun little like high school party movie that got out of hand kind of thing, and I kind of knew what to expect, and I got pretty much what I expected out of this movie. It did go over the top towards the end to mammoth degrees. I mean, the story is basically a kid is turning 17 and his best friend wants to throw him a birthday party at their house while his parents are out of town. Typical high school fare, But this is done in the found footage aspect. So but they hire some goth kid from their high school to follow them around with a tape recorder or a video camera. And that's basically how they do this found footage thing. So there's a lot of quick edits with this kind of film, and there's some comedic elements in that and that kind of thing. But this movie is basically what I expected: typical high school party movie. Lots of swearing, lots of sex, lots of nudity. Where it hits its stride is its over the topness towards the last act, and it just goes beyond
your
crazy.
high school years weren't like that?
No, I went to parochial school, so I didn't even have prom or anything like that. So.
Praise the Lord.
So, but that's kind of why I said this when we talked about the trailer of this movie. That's kind of why I enjoy these kind of movies, because I didn't really get to experience that. So
that's how you still live your life.
I like to live it vicariously.
Like you didn't get it.
Yeah. What?
Because you go out and party like a rock star now.
Well, yeah,
you're like, I ain't in parochial school no more, bitch.
I got a lot to make up, So anyway, this movie has its moments. Has a couple of. I mean, again, I was by myself, and there's a couple places where I laughed out loud. I'm sitting in the theater by myself, laughing out loud. So
this just gets sadder and sadder.
But it's not great. It's one of those one and done kind of things. Don't run out to go see this movie in the theater. It doesn't need to be seen in the theater. This is as Brian says, a rental one to watch on a hangover weekend kind of thing, just because it happens to be on TV. I'd probably give it a 3.5 out of 10.
Holy shit!
And most of that is because there was topless girls in a bouncy castle.
And that's always got a couple points.
I mean, you can't go wrong with topless girls in a bouncy castle. Let's be honest. In slow motion.
So really, 3.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing that I'm ever gonna want to see again. It's a movie that I'm not disappointed I saw it, not to like a 1 or a 2, but I don't know. Maybe I'm jaded, and again, like I said, if I would have gone and seen it with people, I would have enjoyed it more. I'm the kind of person that feeds off of other people's emotions while I'm watching a movie, and I didn't have that with this, but that said, I'm never going to see it again. If a friend of mine said, "Hey, I really want to see Project X," I'm not going to be like, "All right, have fun. Let me know how it is. I don't want to go again."
Nice.
So yeah, but it's doing well.
That doesn't mean anything. Yeah. I mean, it was number 2 at the box office. Thanks, Scott. It was number 2 at the box office with $21 million. So obviously, there's a lot of kids that can't get invited to the real party. That's basically my theory on it. Everybody that went and saw this one were the kids that weren't invited to the real party. Dr. Seuss the Lorax was a monster hit. I did not see that coming at all. With $70 million. That's how much it opened with. That's a big weekend. Brother.
70 million?
$70 million.
They have been advertising the crap out of that movie.
It's basically made more than Act of Valor in one weekend. So
Actually, before I came here, I was out with some friends, and a friend saw it and said it looks amazing in the 3D. He said they do some
I've got
cool
a friend that
stuff.
saw it and she said her and her kids really loved it. So.
Yeah. I mean, the story doesn't interest me at all, but I don't know.
Well, we're also a little bit past the demographic.
Well, true, but I mean, there's still a lot of those movies that I enjoy going and seeing. Just because it's a kid's movie doesn't mean I'm going to instantly
That's true.
be against it. So
I want to see it, but I don't want to sit up, in the middle of a bunch of snot-nosed brats to do it.
Well, if you want to listen to last week's episode 31, we talked about the March 9th releases, which are John Carter's Silent House, 1,000 Words, and Friends with Kids. Well, we didn't actually. We just talked about that one. And we also reviewed Act of Valor, This Means War, and Wanderlust. So if you want to hear more about that, go listen to episode 31. Right now, here's the March 16th releases. There's really only 2 coming out, and one that's definitely wide. The other one is possibly wide. So I'm going to do the possibly wide one really quick. That's Jeff Who Lives at Home, because everybody's excited about the wide release, so we'll wait. Jeff Who Lives at Home is Jason Segel, starring as a 30-year-old man who lives at home with his mama, who's played by Susan Sarandon. After leaving the house to run an errand for his mom, him, along with his brother, played by Ed Helms, start to feel life has more to offer than hanging out in a basement. This is reminiscent. This reminisces with me a little bit, but it's I don't know. I really like Jason Segel, so I really kind of want to see it. I think he plays Sweet very well. What do you guys think?
I'm a big Jason Segel fan, and I'm looking forward to seeing this, but not theater seeing it. This is one I'll wait on for a while, but it looks funny, and Ed Helms is funny too. Halfway serious, halfway comedy. I think we talked about that in a couple episodes before.
Fair enough.
Yeah, cable.
All right.
Watch it on cable.
Well, there's another movie coming out that I think most people here want to see. That's it's got Channing Tatum in it, and it's not The Vow. He's a dumb stud cop, and Jonah Hill is a smart geek cop who team up to go undercover for the Jump Street unit, led by Ice fucking Cube. They end up posing as students at a local high school, and it's 21 Jump Street, bitches.
This looks funnier and funnier. The new Red Band trailer came out, and it's so funny. It's like it's instantly quotable just in the trailer, and I did not think I was going to enjoy this when I first heard the concept, but it looks genuinely funny. I can't wait.
All right. Are you guys wanting to see it?
Yeah, I'm actually amazed at how much I do want to see it, because it's one of those remake or reboot type, not really a reboot, but anyway, kind of rehashing of some older material that makes me skeptical at first, but everything I've seen about it looks hilarious, and I'm on board.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it?
It looks funny.
I'm actually kind of surprised, McCumber. I thought you'd be on board too.
It looks funny. I want to see it. Do I want to pay theater prices to go see this movie? Hell no.
Well, you don't like to go see movies with people, though.
Well, I don't like to see movies that really don't require a big screen to tell their story.
Mm-hmm.
21 Jump Street does not require the big silver screen to tell it. John Carter? Sure it does. Wrath of the Titans? Sure it does. 21 Jump Street? Not so much.
You don't know. They might have an awesome gunfight in this fucking movie.
Well, if they do report
Jonah
back,
Hill's
let
lost
me
all
know.
that weight, so they don't need the big screen now.
I don't know. I was talking about the Oscars, brother, and I think he was coming back.
Seriously, Channing Tatum is selling me on him as a comedic actor. Like, wasn't he in? He was in. I was just talking about it before I got here too. There was a movie where he played a minor role. That he was the cracked out guy that they. The Dilemma.
Okay.
And he was funny in that. He was playing a half serious, half comedic role, and he is so funny in this trailer. Like, I never thought of him as a comedic actor. He's always like the bazillion abs, tough guy, like from.
I think he's just playing a dumb guy, but yeah, he's doing it well.
Well, yeah. I just think he's funny. I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah. Well, that's my pick of the week. You guys?
Same here.
Sure.
Justin's violent process of elimination.
A resounding sure. Okay. Well, every week we play a little What's This Movie clip, which is basically a little snippet from a movie, and see if you guys can guess what it was. Last week's What's This Movie quote came from Joe versus the Volcano. That was Justin McCumber's choice. And John D.R., Scott M., and Sean M. all got it right. There's actually quite a few people that got it wrong. So
Really?
Yeah.
What were some of the...
Well, I'm not going to rub it in people's faces.
No, what were their guesses?
Yeah, I just wanted to guess.
One was Dragnet, which I guess because Tom Hanks' voice was in it. And I had a couple...
Barely.
There's a couple, Sleepless in Seattle, and there's what was the other one that they did? The male one.
Oh, that
You Got
Mail.
Mail.
Yeah.
I can buy those because at least they've got the right actors.
Hey, Dragnet was the one. It was interesting. I'm not trying to knock you, person, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah, but Meg Ryan wasn't in that.
She didn't sound like Dan Aykroyd at all.
No.
But congratulations to John, Scott, and Sean. Nice job. And I only say that names. I don't know them, but I don't want to throw out your last names and get people stalking you. So here is this week's quote. This week it's my choice, so it's bound to be from a fantastic film. There you go.
Chris?
Morning.
Something strange happened to me this morning.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?
And that was our quote of the week. So if you think you know what it is, tweet us at H_outsider or email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. And tell us what you think, and we'll let you know if you're right next week. Now let's move on to the couch. That's where we talk about TV and home video, that sort of thing. Couple TV series news. Justified, which is, if you're listening, you know that we're fans of the show, was just renewed for a 4th season. What? That's fantastic.
Because season 3 so far is kicking so much ass.
Yes, it is. Are you caught up on it?
Oh, hell yeah. It is so good.
Last night's episode was fantastic.
Oh, I guess I can't say I'm caught up. I did not watch last night.
Yeah, that's what caught up means.
Sorry, bruh.
That's okay. Terra Nova, on the other hand, got canceled. No more Terra Nova.
Not much of a surprise.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
the
they
last
gave you
few
some hope.
episodes, though, were it was kind of like it was finally coming together. But maybe it was just too little, too late.
Yeah, I think it unfortunately, because it dragged so early on, it lost most of its potential audience. And I think only the real diehards like myself are watching it at the end. I can't blame Fox for canceling it. I mean, I can blame them all day long for shit like Firefly, but they gave Terra Nova a full season and it just didn't do what it needed to do. And Fox had to make a decision. I'm not going to be crying over this one.
Now, is it done now? Is it off the air? Or?
Yeah, it's done.
So did they wrap it up, or did they give it closure, or did they pull out?
Oh no! I mean, they opened up to a whole new storyline, and it was actually an interesting storyline. I was curious to see where they were going to take it, and I rather enjoyed the ending of the show, but it took too long to get good. It spent way too much time with stupid ass kid characters when they really should have been focusing in on the adult story that was going on.
Right.
Well, on shows that are returning news, American Horror Story, which you guys are fans of. Well, Brian and Justin are fans of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming back for 2nd season, and they're doing it a different way. They're actually going to have different characters. It's not going to be like the same characters from last season reliving this season. So Zachary Quinto, who had a guest spot on the series for the 1st season, he's going to be a second lead in the 2nd season, along with Jessica Lange. So that's some pretty cool news. I actually like this concept of what they're doing with the series. Are you guys happy that they're doing this?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Whole new cast, whole new story. They're just basically trying something completely different.
Yeah, you take. Yeah, I like that idea that you take just a little bit from the 1st season and just kind of spin it off, so to speak. So.
And I miss a series, but I want to get caught up before the 2nd one, just for the sheer fact of you guys recommending it. But I'm a big fan of Zachary Quinto, especially in creepy roles. And if this is as creepy as you guys are saying it, that sounds like it could be.
Well, and I want to ask the 1st season, because I haven't watched it in whole. I haven't finished it yet. It does end like an ending, right? It has an ending. Mm-hmm. So basically, it's not like a cliffhanger or anything. It ends.
Well, there's a certain character that's left dangling. From what I've read, that character will return later on, but the story of that family in that house is done.
Okay.
They tie that up in a pretty nice little bow.
For the most part, it stands alone by itself.
Yeah.
Okay. And Connie Britton, she just signed on to an ABC pilot. She was in American Horror Story the first season. She'll be in the ABC pilot called Nashville. So look for her if you're a fan of hers, and who isn't, because she's Sigourney Weaver, who is pretty well known for being a film actress, is going to get her own TV series because everybody's jumping to TV now, called Political Animals for the USA Network. And it's going to be like in the vein of Hillary Clinton. It's going to be about a former first lady and her family. I don't know. I like Sigourney Weaver. I'll give it a shot. Political shows never really stick, though. Except for West Wing, I can't really think of any.
I'm not big into politics anyway, so not a whole lot of interest from me. But
Nothing?
I do like Sigourney Weaver, but
She's good, man. You guys want to see this?
Not really.
Not really.
Oh, all right.
I'm with you. She's a good actress. I like her. Political shows do absolutely nothing for me. Unless, Jack Bauer is stringing you up.
Yeah.
I got no time for presidents and first ladies and all that shit.
That would be great. Let's get Kiefer Sutherland on this shit. We'll just throw him in there. Him and Sigourney Weaver just going around just fucking stringing bitches up left and right, coast to coast.
Just capping fuckers. Yeah.
I would tune in for that, USA. Characters welcome. Let's move on to...
What, did we get a sponsor all of a sudden? Did you tell us?
Let's go on to Did You See That? That's where we're going to talk about home video style, anything we've seen. Scott and Justin have seen two of the big releases last week, and that is Hugo and Game of Thrones. What do you guys think of those?
Scotty, you go first.
all right, I'll start. I was super excited to see Hugo just from Brian's glowing recommendation, coupled with the fact that from what I saw of the trailers, it looked like it was very fantastical. It looked like it was going to be something supernatural going on, and I'm not going to say I was disappointed, but it went a direction that I didn't know it was going to go. I guess as far as when you find out what actually is going on in the story, it's not what I was looking for in seeing this movie. So I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the movie. I thought it was a beautiful movie, really put well together. It's just not what I was expecting story-wise, so I was a little disappointed, but I'm not really knocking the movie in that respect. But seriously, one of the most gorgeous movies I've seen in a long time. I really wish I would have seen it in 3D. But I would give it a 7 out of 10.
It sounds like you liked it.
I liked it. I was just expecting something different. I mean, you know me. I like supernatural stuff, and I like fantasy and that kind of thing. And it went I don't want to give away what's actually going on in the movie if you haven't seen it.
But you're right. It's like the plot kind of changes about 2 or 3 times in the movie.
Yeah, and it was a little slow. I will say. I mean, from seeing the trailers and stuff, it did not look like an Oscar movie to me at all, which is partially why I was kind of excited, because I was kind of in my mind thinking, wow, the Academy is actually going to do a movie that, it's in the forefront. That's something that I'm actually really interested in, and never got around to seeing it. And then after it won all those awards, I really wanted to see it, and so I think my expectations were a little high. So again, not knocking it. I just I was expecting something different. But I'm curious to hear what Justin thinks about it, though.
I was really disappointed.
Yeah?
I mean, really disappointed. My brother has a 3D HD TV, and so I went over to watch it with him, and he'd seen it before and really, really enjoyed it. And I usually try to, as I said before, reserve judgment. I don't want to go into a film presupposing what it's going to be about, how I'm going to feel about it, and I try to go in as clean as I can. But, when it gets to a point where a film has received the sorts of accolades Hugo has gotten, you almost can't help but go in with a certain level of, shit, this motherfucker won a lot of Academy Awards. It was up for even more. So you go in with a bit of an expectation. Mm-hmm. Beautifully shot. The 3D was absolutely magnificent. I agree with everyone who said that Hugo's 3D is the best they've ever seen. I don't think it completely blows something like Avatar out of the water, but it definitely does it better. And I love the layering of things within the frame at all times. So in that regard, I enjoyed it, and it is a beautifully shot film. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it has so many characters that I didn't give a flying fuck about. and a lot of characters that I didn't like. I absolutely detested Sacha Baron Cohen's Inspector. I thought, he's supposed to be unlikable. Okay, succeeded. He is so unlikable. I didn't care for. As soon as he was on the screen, I got irritated. I thought Ben Kingsley's Georges Millet, I found him so abrasive at first that when he eventually, towards the end, his character gets some evolution, I didn't care. The only character I actually liked was the young girl Isabel, played by Chloe Moretz. I thought she did a great job with the accent and with the role, but everyone else either bored me or irritated me. And so when a film is filled with characters that do nothing for you or are actually negatives, it kind of brings the whole thing down. And so coupling the fact that I didn't care for some of the characters with the direction that the story took that I just didn't find all that interesting. I can see why the Academy adored it.
Exactly.
I completely see why they adored it, because it is huge cinematic fan service. But for me as a viewer, it didn't really do a lot for me. I was expecting more, and perhaps it's my fault for going in with some pretty high expectations, but it just didn't work for me. And it's a film I bought in 3D, HD Blu-ray, and I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. Mm-hmm. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll get past myself and enjoy it more. But a little disappointed.
What about
if I were to judge it out of 1 out of 10, at this point, I'd probably give it about a 6, because it's really so beautifully shot, and I can see Scorsese's heart in it. Just, it didn't really move me the way it moved a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Game of Thrones?
Fucking awesome.
Okay, 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
It is so goddamn good. I almost wish I were watching it right now instead of talking to you a-holes.
How far into it are you?
I've seen the first 3 episodes. I think I've got 7 or 8 more to go. I cannot wait to dive back into it. It is so beautifully shot. The actors are fantastic. The characters are great. Boobs everywhere. It is a phenomenal show. This one, I went into a lot of expectation as well. Well met, exceeded, and across the board.
I'm not as far into it as you are. I'll be honest, I'm still working on the first episode just because I made the mistake of trying to watch this when I was really tired. And this is a show that you cannot watch with.
No, you gotta pay attention.
You gotta really pay attention, because I don't know which, if there's different versions that you guys got different from mine, but there's actually a built-in menu system in this that helps you explain the characters and the locations and stuff while you're watching it.
Yeah, you can turn that off, by the way.
No, I did. I messed around with
checking.
it before I started watching it. But I mean, the fact that I've never seen that included in anything. Granted, I've never watched an HBO series before, so the one thing I will notice is, because this is the first HBO series I've ever seen, it was so jarring for me to be like, okay, I'm watching an episodic TV show, and there's ridiculous violence. I'm not saying this in a bad way. It's just it was different for me. Ridiculous violence, so much nudity, and not just like haphazard. Just there's a boob. Blatant. It's just like in your face, like. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It was, some of it was borderline uncomfortable for me to watch with my wife. I mean, this dude is taking his sister's clothes off and feeling her up, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
See a sister? I would too.
So, and the other thing that's weird to me, and again, I've not watched an HBO series, so they say fuck a lot in this show. Did they say fuck in medieval times?
Well, see, that's the
Fuck
thing.
yeah,
George R. Martin wrote this series to be as unlike most of your epic fantasy stories as he could. I mean, the lead character's name is Ned.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, really?
You gotta love that.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I watched it, that's one of the things that kind of threw me off with this, was that you have people like Ned and Rob and all these bland, vanilla Anglo names, and it's like, really, you live in a castle or this cool, building and stuff, and you got horses, and you own all, you got all this, you got kingdoms and all this other cool shit. And then your name's Ned.
Mm-hmm.
I love how none of the characters are black and white. They've all got these thick layers to them. There's a little bit of evil and good in all of them. Well, maybe not good in all, but there's definitely some darkness.
Well, there's
in every single character.
Right, and you're absolutely right. There's nobody is just completely evil or bad or the other side of the spectrum. You know, nobody's just completely good. It's just it's such a deep and complex series that, like I said, you know, I started watching it today with the commentary, and it's kind of funny picking up on the stuff that they point out, but that's more the technical stuff, like the scene when the brother and sister at the beginning of it, where they're, you know, you mentioned he's feeling her up and stuff, and there's a mural on the back wall that has ships that are shooting cannons, and they didn't have them back then, so in that world, so it's kind of funny.
Subtle.
This is a series that I feel that I'm gonna watch through, and I'm gonna want to watch it a second time just to like pick up everything, because there's I didn't even finish the first episode, and there's so many characters, and I'm so confused as to what's going on. And I was talking to a friend at work that said that he tried to watch it and only made it to one episode, but was told that like the second and third episodes is where it really kicks into gear, and it just awesome stuff.
That's true with any show. I mean, you got to set it all up.
Right. So I'm looking very forward to getting it, because like Justin said, this movie looks gorgeous, especially in Blu-ray. Everything just looks like there's a lot of detail. It looks, I'm liking the characters.
But like, you know, but you're right. Like, you take Ned Stark's kids, just these people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his oldest son is kind of, you know, his heir. There's another one he's not even his son. He's more of a
bastard.
You've got the bastard that's a living, breathing, you know, reminder of his infidelity from years back. Then you've got another guy that he's not even related, but he's basically, they beat his family in a war, and he's basically a prisoner, but he's grown up since he was 7 or 8 years old. So he's grown up with Ned's sons. So he's kind of like one of the kids, you know, and then you have, you know, the girls, and, you know, one's prissy, the other one is really kind of a tomboy. And then you got a couple other younger kids, and but you see them all together, and it just kind of looks like they're all a big family, but you don't, you know, it takes a little while to kind of pick up on the fact that, you know, Ned's wife doesn't like the bastard, you know? So, which is funny, like, in one thing, if like his last name is Snow, which is basically when you're a bastard, that's kind of in their region, that's what they name.
That's like Jones or Smith.
Right. So it's what they name the bastard kids, and each region has their own bastard surname. So
wow, there's so much stuff.
Exactly. I mean, it's just phenomenal how deep and stuff this is. I absolutely love it.
I'm looking forward to finishing this.
Keep us posted. Mm-hmm. Let's move on.
No, I do have one question though, and it's real fast. Do you guys know if the next season? My understanding is each season is based on a particular book.
Right.
Only the first book is called A Game of Thrones. Are they going to call the next series A Clash of Kings? Because that's the next book's title.
It's from what I understand, it's just Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it kind of throws me off because
it's Game of Thrones of Ice and Fire is the name of this.
The series is called A Song of Ice and Fire,
right?
But each book has its own title. So I'm curious why maybe HBO didn't call it, you know, the show A Song of Ice and Fire, but then give each season its own subtitle, because I think those people who are coming to it without this knowledge might look into it and start getting confused about, well, wait, this is a different title, but the same story. And so I was just kind of curious about that.
Maybe Game of Thrones just works better for the title.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Okay. Walking Dead. Brian, what did you think? I mean, obviously without a spoiler, what did you think about Sunday's episode?
I thought it was pretty boring up until about the very end.
Yep.
And then it made up for the whole damn episode and made me want to go back and watch it again.
No, the whole episode's centered on Dale's basically trying to talk Rick into not killing the guy that they picked up a few weeks back. Do you find it kind of irritating that they picked this guy up like 3 episodes ago and they're still fucking debating it in this episode?
I thought it was odd that you would go through all that trouble of almost dying yourself to save a guy, and then you get him back and go, you know what, this wasn't such a good idea. We should fucking kill him. I thought that was absolutely stupid.
I completely agree. I don't understand where this... I mean, I get it. They're trying to protect the group and whatnot, but it's just... It seems so far-fetched. It seems like they're really just stretching it out a little bit.
Is this still season 2?
Season 2, there's 2 episodes left. I think they're going to finally start rationing it up. I mean, they've been playing the Shane versus Rick thing all season. I think that'll probably come to a head, if I had to guess. But that's not based on anything I've seen. But
think there'll be a season 3, or do you think they're going to?
Well, there'll be a season 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've already.
Oh, it's too huge in the ratings for them to ever want to drop.
It's like
this
one of
thing.
the biggest cable shows. And I think they gave it like a 16 episode order. They actually gave it more episodes this time. The other thing that I saw the
Breakout Kings.
Thank you.
Wasn't that good?
Did you watch it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, that was great.
I didn't see that ending coming.
For you guys that have never watched it, Breakout Kings is basically, it's the same producers as Prison Break. And basically what it is the United States Marshals recruits jailed inmates to help them recover prisoners that have escaped. That's basically what they do. That's all they do. And then for helping them, they get time knocked off their sentence. And it's the same 3. And this is season 2. It just started. And they said that, one king will fall. Basically implying that one of the main characters was going to die in the premiere episode. I mean, that was the promo. So I'm not like spoiling anything. I just didn't think that something would actually happen.
Well, I never knew it was supposed to happen in the first episode. I just thought it was, a cock tease for the season that at some point someone will die. And I was like, shit, at the end of the first one, they're already dead.
Now, could you get invested in that character enough after one episode?
Well, don't say who it is.
In the whole first season.
Yeah, don't say who it is. It's definitely a character that's prominent, and nobody saw it coming. And the only thing I can think of is because apparently that particular actor, I'm trying to keep it, spoiler free. That particular actor said that it wasn't their choice. So I'm assuming maybe it's budget, because I know it doesn't make huge ratings, but sometimes when they bring a show back, they got to trim some fat, so to speak. Maybe that's why, because otherwise I don't see why they cut that character.
It's to show the danger of what these guys are doing, and a show like this, I think it rests. Its success as a drama depends on our ability to believe the danger they're in. And if you've got all these guys constantly chasing criminals and none of them ever pay the ultimate price, we no longer fear for their safety. Therefore, there is no drama. That's Joss Whedon. That's why he kills off his characters so often, to keep reminding the audience, these people can die. Don't ever assume just because their name's in the credits that they're going to make it. And I love that they killed him off. I like the character, but put him in danger. Now I don't know who's going to make it from episode to episode.
I agree with that to an extent. And I do wonder if they're going to go for more serialized nature now, because it seems like that's what shows tend to do. Like they have the first season where it's each episode is encompassed in that one episode. And in the second season, they branch out and go a little more serialized. Which kind of looks like what they're doing, because they already showed clips for future season episodes where they're going back to people that have been in past this episode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'd kind of be interested if they go that route.
I'll keep watching it. It's a good show.
Okay. I really like the show. We're going to do kind of like a speed round. Well, we've got a couple more things we saw, but we don't want to go on and on and on about them. So each person, we're going to be less than a minute on on each one you're talking about. You can do.
I feel like you're looking at me.
I'm looking at you and Scott. I'll do mine first, just to give you an idea how I'm going to do. Let's be really quick. So that's right, dog.
Quick.
Okay.
A little pitchy dog.
Even the dog understands. He's barking in the background. Yeah, get it done. First one, I went and saw I fucking watched it on my television. J. Edgar, that's a Clint Eastwood movie that Leonardo DiCaprio was in. Basically played J. Edgar Hoover. recounts his whole life, how he rose to fame, how he ended up beginning the FBI, how the FBI became established, and how it ended up taking over the entire world. That said, the movie, pretty good, decent. I wasn't nearly as powerful as I was hoping for. It was a little more involved in the actual making of the FBI, which was kind of bleh. I really wanted to know more about J. Edgar Hoover himself. So I thought that all, the direction and everything was fine. It was very average. It was a very average biopic. I didn't think it was like anything exceptional. The only thing I will say is Leonardo DiCaprio, for as much as awful as he was in the trailer, did a great job in the movie and really sold the character, made it his own. So that's J. Edgar. I would give it 6 out of 10. I mean, that's solely on DiCaprio's performance. Scott.
I was able to watch The Thing, which is a remake of the 80s movie. Is it 80s? With Kurt Russell?
Yes.
Yes.
Which is basically a bunch of guys out in the middle of an Antarctic wilderness or something that are attacked by an alien creature that basically creates or assimilates versions of themselves. And it's kind of a campy movie. I actually really like this a lot better than I thought I was going to, and for one main reason, because the character creation of The Thing looked really good. Like, I can't even tell you how realistic this thing looked. Definitely worth a watch. The second thing, it also had a really great intro. The intro of that movie was awesome. I highly recommend checking that one out. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Took me halfway through the movie to realize that the main chick in the movie played Ramona on Scott Pilgrim. So, I did not. It was driving me crazy, but
And the daughter in Die Hard.
oh
Yeah. Keep rolling. You're ready to go.
yeah, I'm done. That's The Thing.
Okay.
One other quick one I saw Like Crazy, which is a romantic movie with Anton Yelchin, the guy that played Chekhov on the Star Trek movie.
Mm-hmm.
Also in your vampire movie,
Fright Night.
Fright Night. The story is real quick. He falls in love with a British foreign exchange student that they hit it off. She breaks her visa to stay with him, gets deported, is not allowed back in the country, and they're fighting a long-distance relationship. What makes this movie really touching is the quick edits that happen in place with this, that make the scenes go by really quickly. At first it's distracting, but then it really kind of melts you into it. The music is really good. These characters really feel for each other. Ending is a little goofy, but I'd probably only give that one about a 6. But it's interesting what they did with it. Kind of hits you in the gut a little bit, but nothing to write home about.
Okay. What do you give that one?
6.
A 6. Okay. Justin McCumber.
This weekend, my wife and I kind of took it easy and just crashed on the couch and watched movies. And for whatever reason, we just decided to watch the Ocean's 11, 12, and 13 films. I forgot how much I really enjoyed the Ocean's 11. Just that cast, the breezy location, the dialogue. It is so pitch perfect. It's one of my absolutely favorite heist films. Completely let down by the boredom of Ocean's 12. Thankfully, the last one, 13, came in and lifts things back up again. There's a book idea I've got in mind a couple years from now that's going to be kind of a heist book. When I write it, I'm going to have to rewatch these again and really write down the pattern to these films. But they are just so good, so fun, easy films to watch. I look forward to watching them again. I think they'll always work for me.
I really liked the first and the third one. I didn't care much for the second one.
Yes.
Yeah, most people hate the second one, and it's still kind of bad, but even bad Ocean's film, I think, is more fun and interesting than a lot of films.
That's true. I'll give you that. Well, let's move on to Blu-ray. That was our speed round. Nice job, guys. Coming out on Blu-ray and DVD on March 13th. Actually, finally some good releases. It's been a while. The Adventures of Tintin, The Descendants, Happy Feet 2. That was a huge flop. Huge flop. And The Three Musketeers, also a huge flop. Which one of these boys would be your pick of the week if you were to pick one that you had to buy?
I'm going to go with
what made you think that you get to go first? Brian?
Wow.
Just kidding.
Damn.
Go ahead,
Just put a
Scott.
foot in the ass.
What were you going to say?
I was going to go with Justin's man crush and pick The Descendants, just because I'm curious again because of the Academy.
Nice.
Maybe that's why we watch the Ocean's movies.
Brian?
I'm going to go with the Three Musketeers.
Really?
I'm more intrigued to see The Descendants, but it just, I don't know. I don't want to buy a movie that looks somewhat depressing. So, Three Musketeers I know is fun. The little 10-10 hairdo kid freaks me out looking at him. So, and Happy Feet just doesn't really do much for me. So, I'll go with Three Musketeers.
All right, Justin?
I had to say The Descendants. I'd missed it in theaters, and I really want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And not just because Clooney's in it.
Right.
But mostly because Clooney's in it.
I'm going to go with The Adventures of Tintin. Oh. I actually really want to see it. I keep hearing it's got a very Indiana Jones vibe to it, so I want to check it out.
I'll definitely rent that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I'll rent it. If it's good, then I'll buy it. I'm always up for good CG films.
Are you willing to buy it?
It's such
on
a Euro
Blu-ray?
thing. I don't know. Fuck some Euros.
Which? What?
It's the Dutch. Yeah, man.
All right,
it's like
then.
the Dutch or something.
All right, Scott.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
Every week we have a Flashback DVD, which is basically an unknown or obscure film that one of our podcasters recommends to all you listeners out there, and hopefully you can leave this podcast with a movie to watch. This week it's Scott's turn. Scotty.
I'm going to recommend a movie from 2007 that was recommended to me a couple years ago, simply because I was told that the main character in this is me. And I was told I had to watch this movie because of that.
Okay.
So I was intrigued by that. And this movie is called Meet Bill. And it stars Aaron Eckhart, Elizabeth Banks, Jessica Alba, Tim Oliphant. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Tim Oliphant.
Awesome.
And Craig Bierko from he's from the 13th Floor, if you don't know the name. But Aaron Eckhart stars as Bill. He works at a bank. See the connection already?
Okay.
He's fed up with his quote-unquote non-job that he only got because he married a banker's daughter, more or less. And then that daughter is played by Elizabeth Banks. Bill is a normally easygoing guy that has come complacent in his life. He's getting fat, but eating a lot of candy bars. He has dreams of opening a donut franchise, which sounds silly, but he's got this dream in his head about it. But he's got stuck in the rut of the bank job and is now miserable and not eating right. And to top it off, his wife is banging Tim Oliphant's character, who's a reporter for the local news. And he's struggling with that, trying to confront her and all that. And along the way, he gets suckered into doing a mentoring program from a school that he graduated from. And this kid that's played by what's his name, Logan Lerman. He played the younger version of Ashton Kutcher in The Butterfly Effect, and he was in 3:10 to Yuma, which I know you liked. But smart mouth kid, basically tries to talk him through his problems and that kind of thing. It sounds like there's a lot going on and not a whole lot of major intense story. This is kind of more or less one of those movies that goes from scene to scene, but I really enjoyed this movie a lot. It's a lot of fun, tongue-in-cheek humor kind of thing, and I can't tell you why I related to this character, but I did. Outside of the bank thing, he's just one of those guys that everybody likes. You feel sorry for him, as I've said in previous episodes. I'm a sucker for movies where you feel sorry for the main character, especially if it's a male character. There's a couple of laugh out loud moments in this movie, and there's a really good cast. I mean, Jessica Alba's in it. She looks gorgeous as always. Tim Oliphant's a lot of fun to watch, and I'm a big fan of Aaron Eckhart. So, it's nothing that I'm going to put on like a top 10 list or anything anywhere, but it's one of those movies that kind of got overlooked because it was a bargain bin movie that I think is actually worth a rental or a like a Netflix kind of thing. It's a lot of fun. It's I don't want to say cute, but it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek dark comedy that I enjoyed a lot, so I'd recommend it.
Okay. And that is Meet Bill. That's Scotty Clark's choice of the week.
Mr. Lindsay, if you're nasty.
If you want to, if you want to suggest your own flashback, you can always email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com or tweet us at @H_outsider. Now it's time for our Stump the HO answer. Brian Williams, can you please repeat your question, sir?
Yeah, let's see here. The movie Psycho was the first movie to show what? Use a house as a character in a movie. B, show the bathroom with a toilet. C, a woman showering. Or D, a man in drag. And as all you bastards guessed right, it was the first to use a bathroom with a toilet.
It's pretty sad when I'm the first one to guess, and I guess right.
Yep, that just shows you how easy that question was.
and actually, it's the toilet. They even flushed the toilet.
Yeah, that's actually what it was. It was the first time you heard a toilet flush in a movie, because you never heard a toilet flush. Because apparently people didn't flush their toilets back in the 50s and 60s.
That would explain a lot.
Really?
I don't know.
Hey, if it's yellow, let it mellow.
What the? Oh,
You've never heard that? If it's yellow, let it mellow.
No.
If it's brown, flush it down.
I never want to hear it again.
I conserve water.
Let's go to our From the Outside In topic. We're going to, basically each week we talk about something that's on ours or our listeners' minds. This week we're going to rip this from an email I'll read in a little bit, but this section came a little separate. It's from AP Stevens. He asks us, do you each have a movie that you'll admit you have never seen that everyone else considers a classic or a culture classic? That would be a cult classic. So is there a movie basically that we have that a lot of people claim as being a great film or one of the best films or a huge cult film that we have never seen? So who wants to go first?
Well, I did, but not anymore. I got yelled at last time, so.
Scott Clark, what is your movie?
Really?
You want to just pick the top 100?
What's it? Oh, come on. Actually, I had one
Just go to IMDb. It's bound to be on there.
I know. I saw this topic on the format, and I was like, great. This is just, flame bait for me. But one big one that actually came up in the format previously, I've never seen Casablanca.
Shame on you.
Never seen Casablanca, and I've never seen Bill and Ted, either of the Bill and Ted movies.
Really?
So those are my
Those are right up your alley.
Yeah?
You should watch
Dude.
those. Yeah.
But the one that I actually did have prepared was one that I've been told I need to see, and I just keep, for whatever reason, not getting around to it. I've never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I've been told that I have to see that movie.
That's awesome.
So.
Yep.
That's the start of my pile of shame.
There's your shame. All right. Justin McCumber. I'm curious.
I think the one film that gets the most amount of praise, and yet I have never seen it, nor do I have any fucking desire to see it, is, Citizen Kane.
I've seen
Everyone
Citizen
and their
Kane.
dog seems to think this is one of the best films ever made. I've caught bits and pieces of it over the years. None of it that I've seen, nor anything that I've been told about it, makes me want to see this film.
Rosebud.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I've read about the story. I don't care. At this point, I think I don't watch it more out of spite than anything else. And I hate to be that guy who gets told a film over and over and over and over again to watch it and just doesn't watch it now just to spite the people who want him to see it. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen it. I've never also seen The Godfather Part 2.
Ooh.
I've heard it's better than the first one, and I own it, but I've yet to watch it, and I feel bad about that.
Do you really?
I do, because like I said, I bought the Godfather trilogy on Blu-ray when it came out, and it's just sitting on my shelf, mocking me.
I actually have not seen it either. I had a notion to go through and watch the top 100 AFI films several years ago, and I started with Citizen Kane and moved on to Godfather. And I got bored.
Yeah, if you haven't finished Prison Break yet, I doubt you're ever going to make that list there, Scotty.
Touche, Brian.
And this should hurt Aaron. I don't think I've ever watched a full Hitchcock film in my life.
Fucking shame on you. If I ever get
Bits
to where
and
you
pieces,
are,
but never a full one.
I ever get to where you are, you and I are going to sit down and watch one.
Brother, if you ever show up, we will pop it in and
whoa,
popcorn.
Well,
you take that out you want.
Are you cheating on me?
Oh, okay.
I'm
going to go next. I'm going to say Brian for last. I have never seen Lawrence of Arabia.
I haven't either.
Yeah. Well, come on, Scott. To be fair, anything I name, you probably got to say you haven't
Come
seen.
on. I've seen 2 Hitchcock movies.
What? Which 2?
I saw
Psycho?
The Birds and I saw Psycho.
Okay. You haven't seen Rear Window?
Oh, and Rear Window. I've seen 3.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Boom.
Yeah. Well, you just got your street cred. Jesus. All right. Lawrence of Arabia. On the Waterfront, I haven't seen. There's actually quite a few of them.
You know, I've been to that like every summer
And
down here.
my big one that everybody thinks that you should have seen, and I've seen parts of it, and just is Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now. Sorry, never seen the whole thing. I've seen parts of it, and I'm just like, fuck. Yeah, I smell napalm, and it's in this movie. It just doesn't do for me. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, Brian. This might make you cry. Full Metal Jacket. I stop as soon as I leave boot camp.
That's the right place to stop.
No, that's perfectly normal.
I have never made it more than 5 minutes past that.
Well, you need to finish it at least once, but
can't.
That's Love You Long Time line.
I'm not really big on war movies, so there's a few exceptions. Schindler's List is an exception, that kind of stuff. But generally, I don't really get into them, and that's probably why I never finished. I did finish Platoon, but Apocalypse Now never bothered. Every time I started to, I'm just like, this is a little too Kubrickian almost. That's how I felt.
Yeah, it does get a bit twisted, especially towards the end, and kind of slow.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Bri?
Well, I've just got one on my list.
Ooh.
And you actually just mentioned it. Schindler's List.
What?
What?
I've seen one scene about 6 times. And I don't know how I end up flipping channels and end up on this very same scene every time. But it came out, it came out back in 93 when I was in the Coast Guard and, really wasn't able to get to movies very often. So, and of course, back then, you're talking 20 years ago almost now, you don't have there was no Netflix. There was no download movies on an iPad or nothing like that. So it came and went, and I just never got around to seeing it. And one of those to where I keep saying I'm going to watch it or buy it, and just there was always something else that attracted me more. So, but the only part I've seen is I believe it's Ray Fiennes. He's in bed with some chick, and she's got some nice boobies. And he ends up going out on the balcony and shooting some random prisoners. That's about it.
Wow.
So
that's a really good movie.
Yeah, it is really good. I recommend that one a lot.
He shoots Jew bears.
He shoots a lot of Jew bears.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of the Jew bears. So, but but I actually went down a couple of like AFI list and IMDb stuff going, okay, how much of these big movies have I not seen? And I'm kind of sad to say this was about the only one. So.
Wow. Well, I've never been big on. I like sword and sandal epics now, but like in the past, those like Ben-Hur. Never watched Ben-Hur. There's a lot of those that I really just didn't give a shit about. So, and obviously, there's several movies that none of us have seen. Scott basically hasn't seen most of the top 500.
Hey, you guys all had one on your list that I've seen, so
what?
F you.
What?
You each had one on your list.
Have you seen Apocalypse Now?
I have not, but you had another one that I have seen.
Okay. All right.
I'm not a big Vietnam War movie guy either.
Well, that's too bad because there's about 4,000 of those out there.
I know, and I've avoided most. I don't know what it is about that war, but it just, when it comes to the films made about it, for whatever reason, I'm not that interested in watching it. I don't know.
Is it because Chuck Norris won it single-handedly?
I don't know if it's because of all the politics involved, or
that's
because
that's what I was going to suggest. Politically, it was a really bad war.
Yeah, I mean, World War I, World War II, though, those were wars that, you can kind of watch and believe in what we're doing, and there's pretty cut and dry, but Vietnam War is not quite that cut and dry, and it always seems to be wrapped up in a lot of, drug stories, and you can't watch it without a CCR song popping up as they're, flying over the jungle, and I don't know. They don't do it for me.
Well, that's our From the Outside In topic. We're going to get into the closing, which we have email. I know, right? Whew.
Yeah. Who's she this time?
Nothing sexy this time. I recommend everybody should listen to last week's, where Brian did a smoking rendition of a fan letter. It was great.
And don't undersell your little musical addition to that.
That's right. That's how you make it. That's how you make it
awesome.
Work. All right. Here it goes. Greetings, gents and Justin. I like how you get singled out.
Yeah.
Been wanting to ask you this question for a while. There have been a ton of movies and shows I've never seen. Didn't watch much TV and such growing up due to video games, sports, etc. Sounds like Scott wrote this letter. So now, I'm sorry, I give you so much shit.
Sports, really?
Sports.
Yeah. So now I get hazed on occasion. I haven't seen a bunch of staple classics. People talk about certain movies, and I always say, never seen it. I'd like you, the hoes, I like to be referred to as a hoe, makes me happy, to decide the order I see these 4 movies in for the first time. You can each give me your order or do one as a team. We did it as a team. Then I will get started on those this year. I won't even mention my never seen Buffy, BSG, Firefly, X-Files, or Seinfeld. Shame on you.
Here's a word. Start there.
He don't need to feel bad for that.
I like it, Brian.
He's
Feel
not
bad.
Okay, he missed it.
Feel bad.
No, he shouldn't feel bad about those.
And it's all right. Keep up the good stuff. See ya, AP. That's not me, by the way. I know it's my initials, but it's not me. Okay, so this is clever. Here is our hoarder. Get it? HORDR. Get it? Like hoarder? It's not funny?
The H should be silent.
See, I thought that was a Game of Thrones joke for a second because there's a character named Hodor. But, okay.
Well, whatever gets hold
But I know,
there.
but since you haven't watched it yet, yeah.
Okay, well, this is the 4 movies he gave. We're just gonna list them off in order. We decided as a group that you should go chronologically, especially because each one is a nice change of pace from the other. So the first one you should watch is Godfather. Number 2, Alien. 3, Pulp Fiction. 4, Fight Club. So this is the 4 movies you gave us. That's the order you should watch them. Godfather, Alien, Pulp Fiction, Fight Club.
And they're all awesome.
Yes, they're all awesome, and in that order, it should be a nice, refreshing way to do it. So
Yeah, and definitely kind of remove any other distractions when watching these movies.
Yeah, like
You know
porn.
what I mean? They're
Take
not really
porn out of
movies they're not so deep in detail. You need to pay complete attention, but you don't want to have it on and go wash a couple of dishes. You come back, you fold some clothes and, send emails, that kind of stuff. I mean, watch them and enjoy them. Kind of get immersed in each respective world that each movie is dealing with. And I think you'll definitely like it.
Except for Godfather. That fucker's long. You're going to want to pee. Like,
Well, I didn't say don't go to the bathroom.
Just pause it.
Unless you get you a milk jug and sit it there by the couch.
wow.
Is that what you guys do in Georgia?
That's...
Yeah, because, in the wintertime, it's too cold to go out to the outhouse.
I just put on my Depends.
Oh.
Anything you guys want to say in closing? We will be back next week with a review of John Carter, by the way.
I think are all of us going to be reviewing that? I know I'm going to go see it.
I'm going to see it. All right, well, I want to thank each of the podcasters. That's Brian Williams, who's available at Brian WMS. Thanks, Brian.
My pleasure.
I know it is. Justin McCumber, who is from the Dead Robot Society podcast. That's a podcast for writers, by writers. He's available on justinmccumber.com and has a novel coming out on March 13th called Haywire. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you so much.
You want to pimp your book? You want to say anything about it?
You just did.
All right, excellent.
Head on to Amazon and buy you a copy.
Scott Clark.
Buy 2.
Buy 200. Why not? Why stop at 2? Scott Clark from the Official Thread podcast. That's a podcast for gamers, by gamers.
Game on, everybody.
And that's available at Official Thread, or he's available at Official Thread. You can always find The Hollywood Outsider at thehollywoodoutsider.com. That's thehollywoodoutsider.com. Stay through our credits and hear our outtakes if you like. Facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. You can email us with any Stump the HO questions or flashbacks or any suggestions you want us to talk about at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Tell your friends, subscribe on iTunes, Zoom, Google Reader, listen on your Stitcher radio app, and give us a thumbs up if you do, or any old RSS feed. You can also Twitter us at H_outsider. And as we always say, the next time you go to a movie in a theater, make sure buy popcorn.
Decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. You're unable to understand that I'm doing the best I can. is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home.
Heading to the movies, and she wanted to stop off and get some snacks to smuggle into the theater. And I don't know why she thought it'd be a good idea, but she got a 2-liter of Coke.
How's everything going, Aaron? I'm sorry you don't feel good.
That's fucking second time in like 3 months. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's probably AIDS.
You know why?
Wow. That's a leap.
Everybody's a fucking hypocrite. But
That's what she said.
That doesn't fit at all.
Like it matters. I'm the every guy.
That's true. Aw, look at you, sensitive Sally. I'm the every guy. I don't watch movies, do
That's
I?
all right. Watch a lot of movies
I'm
this
gonna go
weekend.
watch
So, you know, we're
Project
going to
X.
skip over them.
I'm going to go watch Project X alone in the theater. Just so I can prove you guys wrong.
I'm not taking my shirt off.
I don't want you to take your shirt. I was saying, like, flex.
You're not.
Are your arms bigger than my arms?
No.
Oh. All right.
I got rid of the fat first.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Let's get the show on the road. God.
What
What the fuck was that? Like a dying chicken? Are we ready now?
I'm waiting on you, man.
Oh, don't fucking throw it back at me, brother.
just saying, man.
You are the conductor. This is your train.
That's right.
Dude.
Well, stop being in my caboose.
Let's get this shit to cracking. Cowboy up, motherfuckers.
Sorry. I'm done.
You got it out of your system?
I got it out of my system. I'm done.
All right.
Anytime you're ready, we can get started.
For me letting you go, no time to visit, I just wanna go home. You're never to understand that I'm doing the best I can, and all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. You said my love is blind, just gotta clear my mind, and all I know is all I'd